It's running season. We've got some big events coming up. Today we're going to talk kit and we're going to weigh in and see what your kit weighs.
I'm joined here with Darren. We've got a running bag, we've got State of Play. That's actually our beer of choice today. Remember, this is a non-alcoholic beer.
Oh yeah, cheers mate.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, it's really nice. This is Sunbreaker Ale. This is from Grant from State of Play. You guys might have remembered a couple of beer clubs ago we had him in store. A really nice guy, really cool guy, quite funny, but he's got a bit of a story to tell, and he is behind this. If you haven't already, go check him out. Honestly, it's a game changer. And this is not the only beer, just remember that he's got a few. So if you're not into Sunbreaker Ale, maybe give the other ones a go. But anyway, Darren's here. He's going to run us through what he carries on any of his trail runs that he does. And we'll run through some events that are popping up as well.
Yeah, so events coming up. Crater Rim, Kepler, Valley Ultra. They all require some compulsory kit. So I'm going to show you how I have mine in my bag. What do we start with, mate? We'll start with my run belt.
Yep, sounds good.
So in my run belt, I will have a hat, and I always have my phone in there as well. So that just goes around my hips. And any other nutrition in that I can't fit in my bag, I'll fit in my run belt. All right. So that's purely optional if you're keen to do that sort of thing with a run belt. You might be able to get it all in your bag, but I'm a big guy, and this is big clothes basically. So I've got my gloves. My gloves are for my poles, and before the event even starts, I pop these on, and they're on the whole day because I can put a pair of gloves over those or under them and still use my poles.
So why would you want poles for a run like this? I mean, you could just go for a run, but you carrying poles this way. Why?
So being an older fella, poles help me up the hill. They take about 5 to 10% off your calves, your Achilles, your knees, your hip flexors, and your triceps and shoulders get more of a workout, so it evens it all up. All right, so gloves, I've got my poles in my bag, hitched on, so they just sit here on my side, all right, and I always have the tip up. If you have the tip at the bottom, you've got a chance of catching it with your arm, and that tip could take a hunk out of you.
But surely you could put this somewhere else. I mean, I feel like I've seen people wearing them with the down the bottom.
Yeah, you can have them off the back here, and there's a thing called a quiver, like people with archery keep their arrows in, and you can keep them on your front of your belt here as well with these bungees if you wanted to have them on your belt. All right, and they can sit on your front or behind you. But you'll find with Valley Ultra, Crater Rim, your poles will be in your hands all the time. I mean,
as soon as you got elevation, they're going to help you. It doesn't matter your age. It's all about taking care of your body and being efficient with your gear.
Yeah, nice. Just a wee helpful point. When you are finished with your poles for the day and you take your gloves off, make sure you click them into the poles because there's an opportunity to lose them, and it happens. Yep. So we've got poles. My bag holds 2 500ml soft flasks, and I'll have one with electrolytes and one with water, all right? Too many electrolytes, it doesn't go well with me, so I like to mix it up a wee bit, all right? So going into my bag, I've got some side pockets here. I've always got some pickle juice for cramp, and I've always got some gurney goo for any hot spots that you might get.
I use that stuff, it's
all right.
Game changer.
So game changer there. I've got another side pocket at the back here that I'll keep some real food nutrition, and I like the apple strudel flapjack and the banana cake flapjack as well. So it's something that's going to break up that gel sweetness and put something...
They're quite big pockets, aren't they, really? I mean, I know there's a bunch of other brands in the market and they all cater for kind of the same thing, but that's decent. You could fit a good stash of goodies in there.
Yep, exactly. And I've got the usual gels in my pocket. Now I'm going to show you a wee trick that I've learnt along the way. Is some of the gels have quite sharp tips on them, and it could damage your material in your bag, right? A set of nail clippers, and just round that off, and they don't catch on your bag.
That is genius.
You can see that Torque has already done them, they're already rounded, but the Pure packets are quite sharp. So pair of nail clippers and just take that off, and they slide into your bag, all right? You can share that with others if you want.
That's a good tip.
Right.
I use it myself.
Diving into my bag. Now this is a 10.3 litre bag, and I can get all my compulsory kit in it. I've got my seam sealed jacket, Montaigne, and my seam sealed trousers. Now the seam sealed trousers aren't part of compulsory kit for some events, but some events you do need them, and I'm lucky enough to have both. 110 grams and 110 grams, and they fold up to nothing, and they sit in my bag, all right? Now I only use it for racing, I don't use it for training, so they're always available for that. Don't store this stuff in the bags, hang them up, because it helps with the DWR, the durable water repellent, all right,
Now,
by hanging them up.
just on the raincoats topic, we've get asked a lot in school about what do I use. Going ultralight like that is fantastic. Got to make sure it's waterproof. Got to make sure it's seam taped. It's always going to be less durable, so just bear that in mind. It's not going to last a lifetime. And everyone perspirates at different rates. So just remember that you're going to have to work out your layering system, which I'm sure you'll go through as to what you wear soon. But you will sweat. This won't breathe anywhere near as fast, so you're going to find moisture accumulate. So just be wary of how you do your layering system and how fast you're running, how hot you're getting really, and just keep that in mind when you're out and about.
Yep, cool. Right. If you're not used to carrying a lot of stuff in an event, you try to carry that stuff on your training runs and get used to it on your shoulders. All right. So instead of washing all my compulsory kit all the time, I keep it in dry bags in my bag.
Good idea.
All right. So in here, I've got all my compulsory kit for any event, and I have it in my dry bag all the time. If I'm out training, I've always got it. A buff isn't compulsory, I just carry a spare one. I've got a thermal hat, I've got thermal gloves, I've got a thermal top, a Dart XT, and I've got a pair of long johns. All right, pair of long johns. And these are all past compulsory kit, and that's always in my bag. And the beauty of it, this 3 litre Cedar Summit bag, I don't have to wash it after every run, because there is a bit of moisture goes into your bag, sweat and stuff, all right? So it's always like that. And this isn't counting what you're going to have on. You might have a thermal top on, but you've always got to have another thermal top in your bag or long johns, all right? In my other bag, I have got a first aid kit, which includes a thermal blanket, if there's ever an accident, or you might need it, or even a fellow competitor might need it. So it's a thermal bag. You just get that person into it or yourself into it and wait for help, and that's going to keep a lot of heat in the bag.
It's a bag, not a blanket, right? Because I feel like a lot of time over the years, all these trail runs have changed with their compulsory requirements. Yep. I feel like the bag and blanket has been a bit of a debate.
Yep.
So these days, it's definitely a bag, right?
It's definitely a bag, so that you're basically keeping all that heat in.
And that one there is like, you use it, and it's probably not going to be good for the next time, eh?
Exactly.
So you probably want to replace that. I think you can get ones on the market. I think we've got a few in the shop here, which you might be able to use a couple more times. So just bear that in mind when you do get it. But that is pretty light. I mean, it doesn't weigh much.
No, there's nothing to it. And they won't let you start without it. All right. And as well as that, I've got a first aid kit. It's just a standard micro first aid kit. And I've got compression bandage in there as well. Now, compression bandage is a compulsory for the Crater Rim 53, because there's a lot of opportunities of going over on your ankle, and a compression bandage is going to get you to the next aid station. All right, so first aid kit, blanket, warm gear, and look at that, my bag's empty. All right, just like that.
It's pretty impressive.
Yep.
Now, this is 10 litres. I think a good base is 10 litres or upwards. Don't go too big. Don't go smaller than this. I mean, Darren is a big guy. You're going to carry a bit more clothing with you to reflect that.
Yep.
And if you go smaller than this, you might get away with it. But just bear in mind, if you're going to go into your bag quite a bit, you're taking out different layers. Might be a raincoat, might be a thermal layer, or You get spot check, don't you, these days? Sometimes you got race checks
Yep.
on the go.
Yep, they'll take you off the course if you're missing stuff from your compulsory kit, because everyone wants to save a little bit of weight and not carry it over the mountain.
Yep.
And I don't know why, because, you know, that there would be how much mud is on your shoe. It's basically nothing.
So don't go too tight that you can't get stuff out.
Yep.
Be comfortable with it. Be flexible. You never quite know what conditions you're going to be in. And how's this meant to fit? It's meant to be like a torso up, isn't it, on the fit? It's meant to be nice and comfortable.
Yep, so over your shoulders, and there's chest straps, and on the back of the bag there's a couple of little bungees here that you can pull, and the sides come in, and that means it wraps around your rib cage so the bag doesn't bounce up and
You
down.
don't want any movement, eh?
If you're unsure about how many litres bag that you need, if you get all your compulsory kit, come in and see us and we'll put it in a bag that fits. But then there's the opportunity, if you decide to do spring challenge or an overnight or a 24-hour row gain or something like that, you'll need a bigger bag because you'll need a puffer jacket and that sort of thing. So if you're unsure, get your compulsory kit sorted, come in and we'll put it all in a bag and we'll just see how you go.
Now I feel like, I think we had this conversation the other day, we talk a lot about this gear in store because it's a hot topic, but you mentioned about having, was it a drop bag or something for longer distances?
Oh, boom, good work. So I don't know who it was, but they gave me the best tip for Crater Rim when I did it in 2018. Mount Herbert, Mount Bradley, Packhorse Hut down to Gibby's Pass. The back of Mount Bradley can be really muddy. And this chap gave me a tip on, you can have a drop bag at the top of Gibby's. In that drop bag, I had a clean pair of shoes, trail shoes, and I had nice dry socks, and I had a damp towel and a dry t-shirt. I put a dry t-shirt on, and I used the damp towel to clean my legs up and my feet, put on fresh socks, fresh shoes, and the second half of the event was so much more pleasant because it was a lot drier.
Yep.
And everyone seen me change shoes and thought, oh man, that's a great idea, might have to do that next time. But then I've been at that aid station and I've seen people with more nutrition, a lot more treats, so they don't have to carry it up over Herbert.
Good idea.
So treats in your drop bag, more electrolytes or tailwind or whatever you want, and clean t-shirt or maybe a dry hat. You know,
It's a good idea. I mean, it's you got to, I guess, forward plan. You know, what race you're doing, what training run are you doing, what you're going to need, what would you like to change out if you get in that situation where maybe things don't go quite as good as you want, or if you're in crisis, the weather can turn pretty bad pretty fast. Doesn't take long.
Yep.
So being prepared is a really smart thing.
and that's why there's compulsory kit.
Yeah. So all this stuff here, I think all of it's found in the shop here. So just bear in mind, try the vest on. Every vest is going to fit differently, male, female, if you're a small guy, bigger guy, or if you've never done it before, you just want to have a bit more of a relaxed fit. Come in, try them on. We'll put some gear in it, actually get you loaded up. Nothing worse than buying a running pack and going, oh bugger, I really should have tried that on first. So come in, have a chat to us. We can talk you through all the gear you need, and don't forget about your compulsory kit. It's there for a reason. It's super important to take it because if something goes wrong, you might not be able to help yourself as such, but it might be someone else you find on the trail that really needs it. And you know, you got to look after everyone as well as yourself.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool. I think you've done a really good job down at kind of running me through what I need to take on my next run.
Yep.
Maybe you guys can think about the same thing too.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
See you out there.